Deep in the heart of Africa, where the wind carries whispers of ancient magic and the rivers hum with forgotten songs, there once lived a witch whose hunger for power eclipsed the sun itself. Her name has been lost to time, but her story remains, a warning etched into the very soil of this land. Tonight, we step into her shadow, into a tale of greed, transformation, and the fragile light of redemption. For you see, this is no ordinary witch, and her victim, a prince whose fate would teach her a lesson she never saw coming. The witch's greed was a living thing, a serpent coiled around her heart. By day, she bartered curses for gold in the marketplace. By night, she whispered to dark spirits, begging them to sharpen her claws. But it wasn't enough. She craved the unshakable power of kings, the kind woven into throne rooms and bloodlines. And then she saw him, Prince Adetola, radiant as the morning sun, his laughter echoing through the palace gardens. To her, he wasn't a man. He was a key to vaults of treasure, to armies at her command. And so, with hands stained by 100 petty evils, she began to weave her darkest spell yet. The prince awoke that night to a sound like tearing silk, his own voice strangling in his throat as his limbs twisted, his skin prickling with unnatural heat. He reached for his sword, but his fingers melted into webbed claws. He cried for his guards, but only a croak escaped. And there, looming over him, the witch drank in his terror like wine. "From prince to pest," she sneered, kicking his tiny frog body into the mud. "Now you'll learn what it means to be powerless." Little did she know, the mud would become his classroom, and the lesson, one she'd never forget. In the wild, the prince discovered a world far crueler than any court intrigue. Hunger was a constant companion. Danger lurked in every ripple of the water. Yet with each passing moon, he adapted. He learned the language of crickets, the kindness of old tortoises who shared their shade. And though his body was small, his spirit grew vast, a flickering flame the witch's cruelty couldn't extinguish. Meanwhile, in her hollow tower, the witch paced. Where were the weeping messengers begging her to lift the curse? Where was the kingdom groveling at her feet? All she heard was silence. The truth struck her like a thunderbolt. She had traded her humanity for hollow victory. The prince, even as a frog, had something she'd lost long ago, hope. And when she finally looked into his golden eyes, she didn't see a conquered enemy. She saw herself, small, alone, and drowning in choices she could never take back. "Why don't you hate me?" she whispered. The prince simply replied, "Hate is a cage. I choose to be free." And in that moment, the witch's tears fell, like rain, washing away the curse, and perhaps a fraction of her sins. And so, dear listener, remember this. Greed is a fire that burns the hand that feeds it. But compassion is the river that carries us home. The witch vanished that day, some say into the forest, others into legend. But the prince, he ruled with a gentle hand, forever mindful of the tiny creature he'd once been. For in the end, we are all shaped by the stories we live and the choices we dare to undo. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this African folktale, let me know in the comments which story I should tell next. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more tales from across the world. Until next time, mate, walk in wisdom.